This is Curtis coming at you from Aceperhead Studios doing some football talk. Today we're going to talk about why analytics and stats say Joe Burrow had an amazing season. And in the second part, we're going to raise the question, with this injury, can Joe Burrow get his secret weapon back? All right, now I intended a smaller video, but in the process of watching his tape, I was filled with such excitement about this kid. I was already excited about him, but watching him play and then digging into the numbers and bringing together, man, it's a crying shame that that knee injury happened. But the bottom line is, this kid is super, man. Really. And, you know, I've been a fan. I write for the Dolphins. I write about the Dolphins Fins News. And when, you know, they were in the bottom of the barrel, and Joe Burrow and Herbert and two were up there, I began, you know, around September, October that year, I began looking into the three quarterbacks to see, you know, which one's best for the Dolphins. And right off the bat, man, Burrow jumped off the page, jumped off the film at me. And then the more I watched him, to watch his interviews, I just really began to like this kid. Because, you know, like I said, I'm a Fins fan. I love Dan Marino, and Dan Marino had swag and grit and moxie. And Burrow has all three in spades. Now, you know, when he was drafted to the Bengals, I was unhappy because the Dolphins weren't getting him. That's one. Second, I was a little concerned. You know, nothing against you Bengals fans, but there's the talk of being cheap, a limited scouting departments, kind of the Bungles thing. Not saying it's the truth, but there was that vibe. And I still remember what happened to Carson Palmer with the knee injury and how it wasn't really handled. And, you know, he had a good season after that, but it kind of was never the same. And just the ghosts of that kept coming into my brain. And then the draft was coming. I was like, well, you know what? They can get Sewell, and that's a really huge piece, you know? It's a huge piece of the puzzle, really crucial, you know? And they didn't take him. But as I watched the draft unfold, I saw a plan. And, you know, it's the same thing I say about Brian Flores and the Dolphins. I don't know if that plan is going to work, you know, but it's a plan. And that's the key to any foundation of success. And so I see the possibilities. You know, I'm still a little concerned. You know, I watched all Burrow's snaps. You know, I've been watching your team a little bit more, spending a little more time like investigating them. And, you know, I was positive after the draft. And then after watching the tape and actually seeing the players play and really going into the analytics, I became a little concerned. But then also seeing what they did in totality and really letting it like sit inside me, I became a little more hopeful. But with the one thing that was really clear, man, after watching Burrow's tape, I became even more excited about this kid. Man, I really have, you know, when you get older, football is not just about your team, like winning. I mean, on Sundays, yeah, it's all about, I still am like a little kid. You know, my days are ruined, the days are made based on what happens. But surrounding that, outside of that, man, I love different teams. I love different players. Like, you know, I just get excited for the game of football and people, you know? And I am so excited for Joe Burrow after watching his tape. You know, just there was so many bits and pieces that I kind of knew about because, you know, you watch some clips, you know, you quick looks. But when you watch entire film, you get to see so much more. And this kid's season was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it's not getting the talk because on the surface stats and surface stuff, it's like, you know, Herbert. But context is the key. And we're going to dig into that. And maybe you already know, maybe you don't. But I think most of you are probably going to be very surprised because I was. And the one thing, you know, we were talking about the secret weapon. I didn't realize how mobile, how he could take his platform and just create this mobile platform. He had enough mobility to scramble for the throw, but also scramble for yards. This kid is really a good athlete. And I remember Colin Cowherd, he's like, he's really not that athletic. That is bogus, dude. The tape is so clear. And that is part of my worry, my little concern. He had torn the ACL, MCL, and then this vague structural damage. And it really is almost like exactly the same as the Carson Palmer injury. Now, Burrow, if you keep him in the pocket, kid's going to be good, man, real good. But that extra facet of his game takes it to a whole nother level. And I'm going to do a film study at the end, a little avant-garde film study. Maybe I had too much caffeine, was too excited, but I think you'll like it. But when you look at his film of his scrambles, his movement, his ability to throw from different platforms and get the proper mechanics out, this kid is exceptional. To me, it's the best tape since Luck. Okay, so anyway, move forward. I could probably just grandiose talk on Burrow for quite a while, but I'm going to refrain. I'm going to start buckling down here. All right, so in 2020, he was the 10th most sacked quarterback at 32. He was the 14th most knocked down at 43. And he was the 23rd most blitz quarterback. Okay, so that's not good for the offensive line. But there's a certain context here. In the second part of this, I'm going to flesh it out, and it's just going to be unbelievably worse. Okay, so just hold on. We'll get there. Now, that was the 2020 offensive line. It was terrible. It was terrible. But there were moves made this year, okay? And they maybe not hyped moves, but it gave me some confidence and gave me some hope. So at center position, you got Trey Hopkins. PFF ranks him 18th, which is not terrible. It's average. But the center position is one, if you have a great center, it means a lot. But if you have an average center, you can cover it up through scheme. There's so many ways to cover it up. So this is a quality piece. He's a good run blocker, good pass blocker. He's a solid player, a little bit long in the tooth, but it's a good player. And then Billy Price, who I liked out of college, great run blocker, but can't pass block. But at least you got some youth back then. Maybe he can take that next step, okay? So the center position's a solid position. It's got some depth. So now we'll go to guard. Michael Jordan, the guy who lit up the block to take out the knee of Burrow, was terrible last year. But it was, his second season. And now he's entering his third. And the good news is he's a big boy. There's a chance that, because guards and linemen, it takes some time. Sometimes guys that are really good by year 3 and 4 were terrible 1 and 2. But his role is not going to be starter. Okay, so that's a good news. He's going to be a backup, from what I'm seeing. And then you have Quentin Spain. Okay, now he was a practice squad player. And the scary part is that in the old days, it was bringing pressure from the outside. So, you had your awesome left tackle, and if that guy blocked, everything was good. But defensive coordinators and defenses understand, because of this quick passing game, because quarterbacks are just really designing space for their offense, so you can get the ball out really quick because the coverage is not always going to be there. That interior pressure is the most important, and they bring it. It's premier. Between the tackles pressure. And this is where a lot of these teams are coming, and it's the most dangerous. Okay, and that's what happened to Burrow. Jordan got beat, came into the side, and it was brutal. But you brought it, you had Xavier Su'a-Filo, probably messing his name up, but he's been around for a while, and he's a pretty quality guard. He's going to be a left guard. He's a good pass blocker, and he was penciled in to be there. But because of injuries, he wasn't. Now, he finished the season up, and he had a good 5 or 6 games. The question is, will he be healthy? He hasn't had a full season since 2017. But if he is healthy, it is a quality left guard. And that's a big deal. Okay? And then on the other side, you drafted tackle, quote-unquote tackle, but more likely guard, Jackson Carman. Big, but his feet, his technique, the talk was, I haven't really studied him out, but when you go over all the draft nicks and all the talk, it was a good pick in the second round. And to play right guard, that's the easiest spot on the offensive line. So most likely he'll come into that right guard spot. He'll be protected a little bit with the center. He won't have to learn really fast. That will go to Suafilo on the left guard. So he can come in and he's going to, by all expectations, he should be way better than Spain or Jordan. Okay? So now you're seeing with a healthy Suafilo, and you see with Jordan in there, with Carman in there, that's an upgraded guards. And that was one of the biggest problems you guys had. Your tackle spots, they were all right. Jonah, we'll get to it now. Jonah Williams ranked 44th, small, 6'4", 302. He's okay, but he missed his first season due to injury. He missed a couple games last year due to injury. Can he be healthy? If he is, that's a very solid part, very solid left tackle. He's not going to get killed. He's not going to get destroyed. And so that's really, when you see Burrow, his recognition, his pocket awareness, his ability to get rid of the ball, all those things evolved, that's really all you need. Okay? And then, Riley Reef, a lot of people kind of a lot of Bengals fans, when I'm reading and stuff, they were not really high on it. And I get it. It's a 2-year deal. He's long in the tooth guy. He's not the future. He's not going to settle the position, but he will settle it for this year. Last year, he was ranked 38th from all tackles by PFF, but he's only missed 6 games in 4 seasons. So he's consistent. So when you look at it, you're going to have Williams, if he can stay healthy, that's a quality player. Suafilo, quality player. Then you got Hopkins, pretty quality player. And then you got high talent Carman, who could be another quality player. And then Reef, who's a vet. He's not getting destroyed. And he's going to be consistent. So that front right there, a little concerned about the depth attack. He picked up some rookies. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the look of those rookies was they need to go into the oven for a little while. So a little thin, but way better than 2020 at the face of it, as long as there's no injuries going into week 1. And Burrow needs that. He deserves it. And now we'll get to the second part. To me, sometimes I watch tape. I watch a lot of tape. I love watching tape. And, you watch a play, it's like, oh, okay, you like them. But certain players, they get into you because not only are they talented, but they love the game. They give everything. And that's the thing I learned early on. Sacrifice, commitment, heart. And when you see a play with that, man, with the talent that this kid has, and now some people say, oh, well, we're going to get into it. But when I'm done with these analytics, you look at the tape. I'm a tape guy. You know what I'm saying? I do this analytics on the side. I don't believe tape says everything, and I don't believe analytics says everything. But I can't show you the entire tape. You know what I'm saying? I got time for that, and neither do you. So I'm going to do the analytics part because most of you Bengals fans know what I'm talking about. All right, so on the face, you see, oh, man, Joe Burrow, man, he played 10 games, 13 touchdowns, 5 picks. Man, that's not that good. Number 1 overall pick, that's all you got. 22nd in pass completion percentage, 65.5. That's it? I thought he was supposed to be accurate. I thought this guy was supposed to be accurate. A little context, Ryan, Tannehill, and Brady were right around that mark. Okay? So PFF, 19th overall, 75.1 grade. QB rating, 89.8, 24th overall. That does not say awesome. Curtis, you lose your mind? Are you hype training it? Coming at you right here now. Context. Context is everything. I'm getting excited, man. I really like this kid. He's not on my team, Finn fan, but I really like this kid, man. And I think the talk needs to be a little more pumped up for this kid. All right, so He was 22nd in passing attempts in 10 games. Okay, now if we extrapolate that out, he would have had 640 passes. The number one player in the NFL as passing attempts. As a rookie with no running game and no offensive line. That is mind-boggling. They gave this kid so much responsibility. He was the offense. He, as a rookie, right out of the bag. First game, too, was a little shaky, but you could see this kid building week after week after week. 640 pass attempts extrapolated out. This kid was throwing all day long, carrying it. Now, you go to the blitzes, okay? So he was the 10th most sacked at 32 in 10 games. In 10 games. That ranking is with 16 games. Most knocked down, 43, 14th. That's out of 16 games for everybody else. This kid was brutalized. Like I watched Lamar Jackson's tape. I've been studying him. The beating that kid took, I mean, Joe Burrow is in line with that. In line with that, and maybe a little worse. It was disgusting. Disgusting. Okay? And I get it from a schematic standpoint. He's your best player. Give him the load. But I think it was irresponsible. Okay, so let's keep going with this, man. He was blitzed 138 times. Okay, and we said the number was 23rd most blitzed in 10 games. If you extrapolate that out to 16 games, Allen, who by far was the most blitzed at 244, okay, he was blitzed 15.65% of the snaps. But he's like 244. The next below him is Wilson at 205, and he was blitzed 12.81. Burrow, 13.8. He was the second most blitzed quarterback in the NFL as a rookie, and he still managed to do what he did. With everything else we've gone through. Now I'm going to keep going, man. These analytics, they present a rock-solid case, dude. It's almost like lock-solid, okay? Poor passing attempts. Throwing out the wazoo, play after play after play, blitzed out of the wazoo, and knocked around and beat up like you wouldn't believe. How many poor passes per game did he throw? 5.8. Okay? Just as an example, Brady, number one, he threw the most poor passes, 122, 7.6 per game. The number two, Herbert, out of 15 games, 105 poor passes, 7 per game. Mahomes, similar numbers, about 7 per game. So Joe Burrow, with no line as a rookie, blitzed out of the wazoo, was still only throwing 5.8 passes, 5.8 poor passes per game, less than Brady, Herbert, and Mahomes. I'm going to keep going, man. Okay, drops. Number one, Big Ben, 39, 2.6 per game. Ryan, number 3, 32, 2 a game. Brady, number 4, 1.93. Burrow, 1.9. So now, as I'm going to keep building the sandwich, blitzed out of the wazoo, you know the rest, poor offensive line, not throwing poor passes, and he's getting top 5 drops, worst drops, most amount of drops on top of that. Now that's context to these original numbers. I mean, and I'm not done. I'm not done. This kid needs talk about how amazing he played. Okay? Aggressive throws, tight window throws. We all know Fitzmagic, Fitztragic, right? Number 2, 2.7%. Burrow, 2.5. Third most aggressive thrower in the game. So he's throwing more than anybody. Again, I'm going to keep going under all this pressure. He's throwing aggressive throws, and he's still only got 5 picks. Not done, though, man. Not done. Not even by a long shot. The biggest stats are coming up. Okay, Joe Burrow. Man, that guy, I thought he was supposed to be accurate. 65.3%. Dude, that's 22nd, man. That's not elite. His expected completion percentage was 61.7, a difference of 3.7% over expected. Where does that rank him? Number 6. Who's in front of him? Watson is 1. Allen is 2. Rodgers is 3. Dude, a crazy one. Cousins is 4. Maybe there's a little mitigation over his tough talk. Wilson 5 and Burrow 6 as a rookie. With the worst line among them, the most blitzed, the more drops than just about anyone here as a rookie. Okay. His intended yards per pass. That's like his first read, where he's going to go, 8.7. That ranked him 12th. Okay? So he wasn't getting cheap throws all day. And if you take out Flacco and Hurts, who played very minimal, he really was 10th. So this kid's, the plays were designed to go deep. Top 3rd in the league. And he's throwing the most. Again, with all the pressure and everything else. I'm not going to go over it again. But his actual completion percentage, yards per pass, was 5.7. 5.7 sucks. That ranks him like 20-something. But when you add the context of everything I just said, are you kidding me? That's huge, huge context. Okay, so this kid's on the face stats. Nothing spectacular. But when you dig under it, what this kid was able to do with very little around him, with being beat, the snot beat out of him, still was able to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, given his situation, be able to do what he was able to do. And he had the most amount of responsibilities. So, but when I take all that, what's really flashed out to me wasn't just all these other things here, man. They were all good. His mobility and athletics. I had mentioned it earlier. This kid's ability to be mobile and throw, to mix his platforms, have multiple throwing platforms, to maintain his mechanics and be accurate, and also to pick up actual yards in rushing was so surprising. I couldn't believe it. I drank like an extra pot of coffee today. And I was going to do a film study, and I was going to talk through it. But really, man, I strung together. I could have put way more plays than this, just of his mobility and his scrambling. But I didn't need to say anything. So I did a little avant-garde film study, short, about 3 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it. It comes from my heart, because I really like this kid, man. He really impressed me. So let's go to the film. Check it out. I hope you enjoy. All right, so I hope you enjoyed it. I put a little jazz in there. I'm a little bit of a jazz guy. And I just really, really like this kid's game, man. I mean, I'm a real fan. Bengals, I've liked you. I like Dickie Woods. I like Carson Palmer, Cinco, on and off. But this kid, man, I'm a big, you are so lucky, man. This is generational. My fear is, though, that you take that little aspect out of his game and it's going to diminish him. Now, Carson Palmer was very similar injury. And they rushed him forward, and it was kind of like bumps in the road. Then A.J. Green had a serious knee injury, and they didn't really handle him with kid's glove. They rushed him forward, and it was bumps in the road. And now they're saying Burrow's going to be ready for week 1. Now, there is a difference. Modern technology has grown tremendously over like the last 2 or 3 years. I'm just hoping, man, because this, when you take the brain, accuracy, moxie, charisma, and then you add the ability to be mobile like this kid, he is special. And I really, really pray for this kid because you guys want to win a Super Bowl? He can win a Super Bowl for you. It's just a matter of getting the team around him. What this kid was able to do as a rookie, with the analytics show and the tape is clear. If you get a team around this kid, forget it. Forget it. There is certainly great things for your franchise. It's clear. I mean, this kid, if he's healthy, if he can keep that knee healthy, man, if somehow he can bounce back, I mean, you're never the same. You're never 100%. The hope is 99%, or as close to it as possible. But if this kid can keep that secret weapon in his game, you guys can build a team. Finally, the Bengals will be no longer called the Bengals. You long-suffering Bengals fans will get your due, man. And this kid is got generational written all over him. And it's a shame. It's a shame that he's not getting more talk. It's a shame that what he did last year, because people don't like to really understand, are not giving him the credit he's due. But I'm hoping this year is the year. I'm hoping for you guys. I'm rooting for you guys because I love this kid, man. So this is Curtis here. I'm praying, man. You got something so special. I hope you enjoyed what you saw here. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Comments means the most to me. I really like to talk football talk. I'm chatting away over here, but when you put your comments, I will answer them, and I'll have I learned so much, man, doing this new gig here with Days Per Head. I have all these comments, man, and some great comments. I'm learning so much. So anyway, this is Curtis. I appreciate you staying. Catch you on the flip side, and be well.